Meridian Stormbolt.
That is the thing that HGC does excel at, creating space. His knockback on his W, his face melt, is something that is very difficult to deal with, whereas like a Diablo, if you were to pick him, he's more threatening than more of him creating space, unless you go for the straight lightning breath, but then you're burning heroic, so HGC can be strong in that manner.
But you have the 2-0 already on Fnatic, and for them, coordination is just super important here with the setup right now. And I guess when we're looking towards the monkeys, it's all Crosby at this point.
I mean, I'm terrified. If a Hanzo arrow connects with Raynor and he gets stunned, even with a Blaze Bunker coming out, you're going to have Yrel, Murden, Karazim, and Zeratul jumping on that target.
Yeah, exactly. And they've been trying to set up these flanks too. And that's usually something where Breeze excels at.
Looking for those flanks. All right, so we're getting ready here for game number 3. Will the protection be enough for a Raynor composition to hold its own? Or will Fnatic be able to bring the final punch to get the 3-0? Let's go to Sky's Temple.
Yeah, monkeys are going to try it now. They have the tools. We've seen it on the last map, but can they really win a map here? Well, Fnatic was close in Battlefield of Eternity, but now they can clutch it out with a 3-0 if they play their cards right.
All right, so here we are on the left side in the blue, the Monkeys. Crosby playing Raynor, Splendor on Malfurion, Alex Aproji on Blaze, Baka gonna be playing Tassadar, and Rimmer on ETC.
And over to the right side of the map, we have their opponent with a 2-0 lead in the series. Mena for Fnatic, this time on Zeratul again. Breeze, of course, on Murden. Shrimpie on Hanzo. Smexy on Karazim, going into Transcendence on level 1. And Last Hope again with Yrel. This is the second time that we see Transcendence for Smexy, so going into that a lot more often here. And of course, one of the big advantages that you have with the talent is also that increase in movement speed.
Movement speed pretty helpful on a Karazim. Normally want to come in there and deliver those blows, but also want the ability to kite away without having to use a dash. So that movement speed, definitely something that pays off.
Especially if you get that movement speed on anyone else, if you're, for example, getting him on... Like, every time you hit really a hero that is very low, he has a better chance of escaping from that situation. So, let's see how Fnatic is going to put that to use.
Immediately, we're going to have some clear on the bottom lane. Now, this composition will feel pretty nice after we get past level 7, where you have that extra range available for Tassadar. But right now, Monkeys shouldn't be putting too much aggression on the field.
We have Fnatic actually really demanding the space here, also catering a bit to disadvantages for the monkeys. But it's a really nice double setup that we have for monkeys, but they actually get the kill here against Hanzo.
I mean, it should be a bit overstepping there on Hanzo. He's one of those heroes that you want to work that auto attack in, but do you really need to?
This is the thing. He had the same problem with Fawcett here, right?
Yeah. There's some heroes that it seems like Shrimpie just looks for that extra mile, and sometimes the extra mile just digs you a grave. He
talked about how he's just the person that feels he has the pressure on him because he needs to bear the responsibility on his own shoulders, and I think sometimes he just wants too much.
Yeah. Well, Poe comes in, but Splendor maybe overstepping a little bit here.
Good body block.
Focused.
Nice body blocks here, and they're going for it again. Splendor goes down. Shrimpie redeeming himself here with the rest of the team.
It's just very brawly between these two. In all 3 games, these fights that are unfolding that you normally don't see because you play a little bit more Merc-based or macro-based, it's really a lot interesting.
Do you think it comes down to monkeys, though? Because I get the impression that this time they are a lot more aggressive than they were in the past few weeks.
They might be finding their best way to earn a win is just to bring the fight to their opponents. It's something that they enjoy doing. It's when they have the most fun on heroes.
Yeah, fun is a really big aspect for them, as we heard now several times. But camps taken. The macro game is really where I want Fnatic to excel more so than the monkeys, if that makes sense. The teamfight coordination is good, we know that, but it's really the macro approach that I think it's going to be super important for them.
Yeah, manipulating the battleground could be something that would really allow for them as players to excel, because we know they individually are strong. Manny already in the bottom lane is blocking Alex Aproji as Fnatic is looking for another kill. Yeah,
and also Alex is stunned out, and they are really going deep for this one. He already used the jet propulsion, but they can't go deep enough. I'm torn on Tassadar 4 though. With the strategy that comes out of Fnatic, really the extra life leech, is that going to be the one talent that changed things up here? I'm definitely not a fan of that choice.
I don't mind it. It allows Raynor to use that Inspire and kind of snowball forward. He's already got the armor already on level 4 with the Fight or Flight, which is usually enough to get you through any damage coming your way.
But it's one of the talents that I really enjoy with Tracer, but with other heroes these days, I'm really not a fan, especially since you need to keep ETC alive. And extra life leech is great, but you can't auto-attack when you're stunned, and that's kind of what Fnatic is looking for here.
Maybe Crosby thinks different. He thinks he can attack through auto-attacks. He's been playing too much Cho'Gall lately. Being able to use those abilities, thinks he has that trait.
I mean, he isn't playing the Tassadar, but yeah, so we'll see how that works out for them. But especially, I'm worried for him at Baller more so than anything else, because if you have the extra armor, it can help you to keep your front line alive. And the one problem with ETC that we've now seen several times is you can just blow him up, right?
Well, Mercamp in the top lane did push in. We're going to see if we're going to have that temple be taken out. That's the main objective when you're going for that temple on the top lane and you got the night camp, right? You want to be able to take down that fort and get an early experience lead. Monkeys have pulled that off well, but Fnatic knows this, and they set up for defense.
And Fnatic is also now in a position where they have several heroes that can hold one of those temples easily on their own. Getting the extra shots here at the top by creating space with Breeze on Murden and Last Hope on Urel helped them to get a few of these shots themselves. So they're actually in a pretty good position in structures, but they're still about to lose that fort at the top if the Monkeys commit.
Yeah, down about a quarter health. Monkeys could go ahead and commit. They want to bring Malfurion and Tassadar up, and if they do that, though, and allow Raynor to be able to have as much room as possible.
I mean, one of the things we also have to consider is that so far Zeratul hasn't really rotated into the fights too much yet.
He doesn't need to.
Yeah, he needed to really just clear these waves. So once that we see that commitment from Mena, I think it's becoming more dangerous for the
Oh my gosh. Speaking about commitment, here comes Fnatic. You see Mena already grabbing the Watchtower, thinking about sharking to the left. You don't even have to force this fight. Just taking the Watchtower and having Zeratul disappear from the lanes automatically should have Monkeys back up, and they do.
Yeah, and now we have the Mena rotating again. That's the problem he has right now. He needs to mirror Alex in these rotations.
And he will do so. Decent clear, that level 4 coming online, and that Wormhole gives him a little bit more room to be a bit more greedy with the wave clear. And there he goes. Gets right on top of it while Urel and Hanzo work on the middle lane.
And of course, if they can push out the middle lane, then they can also pressure that fort even more. And that's something that Alex has to deal with right now. But that allows Zeratul at the bot lane to push the wave out even faster. So Alex is currently struggling to keep up with the wave clear in those two lanes.
Quite the tug of war. Slender comes over here, but so does Rimmer as well, as they're trying to commit to this fort. Slowly but surely, they etched it out. And one thing that can slowly burn down a fort, that's Ice Storm. Already, Make working on it.
I mean, it's a bit of a give and take, right? Fnatic rotates two heroes in the mid lane to put more pressure onto Blaze and try and force him to lose at least some of the experience. But it also takes two heroes away from the top lane. And that's used to push then the fort in. So Monkeys are reacting very well to what Fnatic does.
Monkeys responding to Fnatic, as you mentioned, as there's multiple members in the middle lane. A big power slide comes in, and they go straight for Last Hope. Not one that you're going to try and kill, but at least put a little bit of damage on him, while Tassadar works in the top lane. He's trying to take down that fort, but with Zeratul there, you have to respect the idea of him fully committing to killing you.
It's a very balanced lane, though. Two Protoss against each other.
Perfect mirror matchup.
You fight the OP with the OP.
Too strong there, as the fort eventually gets picked off. Now, Monkeys, with this all said and done, this tug of war, they actually get the upper hand of the rope. They hit level 10. Right when the temple spawns.
Exactly. So the timing for them is perfect, but Fnatic also is about to hit their own 10, so they're going to lose out on a few shots, but they still have a chance to fight for it. The thing is, though, they give it up. They are just saying, okay, we're not going to even rotate down there. We're going to push the lane out with Zeratul so that the minions are already lost to the Monkeys, and we take the camp to push through the top. The question is just simply how are the Monkeys going to react at the bot lane. So far, they haven't really committed outside of the temple, but they could even try to push in, and that is Raynor already committing to the Hyperion.
Great answer there. Hyperion comes out, gets siege down the fort. Fnatic will now be in a spot where they have to commit to this top lane. They leave Zeratul up there to work on the fort itself with the night camp. But while this happens, you also have to respect the idea that Monkeys should go over and grab the boss too. So Fnatic do peel 3 members down to that bottom lane.
Yeah, so they need to be careful with it. And to be honest, Monkeys walk away with a much better position here, especially since Zeratul transition top and can easily defend against that here with the AoE that he provides. Fnatic is not really getting too much out of that attempt, so they just gave up the bot lane.
No, they did. They are hurting. Top lane, bottom lane cleared up. In terms of infrastructure, Monkeys are ahead, which is always something that you're worried about when you're playing on Sky Temple. You always want to try and have an additional building of your opponent so you can trade up.
I mean, personally, it really comes down for me once that we have Mena coming into play with Zeratul and not being the wave clear bot that he has to be right now, just simply because he is the offlaner for them. Once that he starts to join the team fights, I think it becomes much more dangerous for the Monkeys, and so far we just haven't seen that.
That is really the secret to playing Zeratul, though, for you at home. If you are playing Zeratul, don't feel like you have to force those fights until you get to level 16. But make sure to communicate that to your team, because they might expect you to come in at some point. But 16 is really when you hit that power spike, when you become a menace that Monkeys or any opposing team can't deal with.
It comes down to composition, right? Sometimes you are just that solo laner, and there's no way around it. There's no one else who can take that. I mean, now they have Urel in the mix, so she could have taken a lot there, but they wanted to try and follow up after Muradin moves in with Urel and make those plays, and it didn't quite work out for them yet. But it's one of those changes where you have to make a judgment call.
Now, with that being said, the 4-man for both these teams are very explosive. Fnatic can find an HGC, for example, land a Stormbolt, and have a 7-sided strike come out, and you can delete him. So you see everyone just grouping up, being close to next to each other, to make sure they don't get picked off. Hang on, arrow comes out. It goes straight up for Blaze in top left, but Alex Aproji dodges and uses a bunker for good measure.
Yeah, it was actually a really nice reaction from him. If that arrow connects, and Mena can grab the kill with Zeratul here. But Alex, paying attention to the minimap, sees the arrow coming and says like, okay, boys, I got this. Drops the bunker, dodges it, and now they have the early level 13. Comes in any second now, the extra talent. But Fnatic should have it ready for the temple. And again, one of the biggest strengths with Fnatic's setup is they have heroes that can easily take a temple on their own.
So 13 connects for Monkeys, and they see you roll in the top lane, so they go straight for a boss play. Fnatic will have Void Prison available, and Mene is rotating down already as they dance around the leash.
That's an interesting call from the Monkeys. They really put their hopes into that level 13 talent, but they don't have the advantage anymore. This is actually getting dangerous, especially with the Void Prison being ready.
They're keeping it leashed. I mean, they do have Mosh Pit. They also have an Archon, which is good in this controlled space. But again,
Hyperion too.
Yeah, Hyperion as well. Fnatic with that Void Prison needs to land on a couple of people.
Arrow in 2 seconds is going to be ready for Hanzo.
Automatically lasso goes in, making sure that the perfect engage doesn't happen for the Monkeys. Alex Apogee goes for Jet Propulsion, uses Bunker too.
Monkeys have fantastic tools here, but the boss is simply taken. Not even contested, especially the Tornado is doing so much work and they didn't commit any of the heroic abilities either. Like, Monkeys are sitting there totally befuddled as we are having them take the boss down, and then Fnatic simply walks in and grabs it.
And that 7 right comes out with the Stormbolt. Hyperion will be used to answer back. Sometimes you get optimistic, but the banana is not there, and the Monkeys lose out on that fight. They also lose out on the boss, and now Fnatic, who was in a pretty weak position to begin with, is able to grab a temple to the south, grab the shots to the top, and also clear out the way pushing the top right.
I'm also a little bit speechless. That was the most anticlimactic boss steal that I have ever seen in my entire life.
Literally just walked onto it and was like, hey, this is mine.
Yeah.
I own this.
We have Bunker, Hyperion, Tranquil, like, we have, no, oh, sorry, we have Twilight Dream. Archon, Mosh Pit, so many fantastic tools for the Monkeys. Also zone control through roots, jet propulsion, AoE with Storm.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that once that they start popping a Hyperion, they can really try and control the space. I was more worried for Fnatic engaging into it than I was for the Monkeys losing out on it, but that was extremely anticlimactic. And they are losing so much on the back of it too. Remaballer might even fall here. Barely gets away from that one, but they're entire level behind right now. And again, Fnatic just walked on the spot and said like, thank you, boys.
Fnatic was behind in experience. Now they're heavily ahead. They hit 16. Monkeys don't even have 15 themselves. I mean, part of the reason why that engage went so well was Fnatic went a step ahead of their opponent. Typically, you're waiting for that boss to get low down and help, and then you have that big chromatic engage, but you saw Yrel jump in and that VP on the back right, which made it hard for Monkeys to get the fight they wanted.
And it was also, again, the Tornado. It had a huge impact there too. Just like completely pushing Monkeys away from where they wanted to go. But Fnatic's going to take it. They're saying like, yeah, thanks, boys. We got that.
16 for Fnatic. Spike that we've been talking about the entire game finally hits for them, and they have a lead.
And Monkeys need an entire level until they're there, so they're just sitting tight right now.
Yep, they're soaking up. Now, to know, level 20 is great for the Monkeys if they can get there. Being able to have that Infinite Archon available. You have the ability to bolt with Twilight Dream, which could be great for them if they have that follow-up from the Jet Propulsion, the engage from ETC too.
Yeah, the problem is rating for 20 is going to be really rough here. And now with them losing out on the structures, it's going to get a bit harder if they can't fight for the next temple. They should have that talent by the time, though.
Yeah. Fnatic also, too, with them having the ability to have that cleanse coming in from Karazim, should be able to make sure to get locked down.
They are rotating up aggressively. Only Mena is still missing. He was cleaning out the bot lane.
Fnatic has that Dragon's Arrow if they want to force a fight. The Sonic Arrow comes out and hits Make. Speaking of that Sonic Arrow, it looks so huge as it's been nerfed on the live.
Yeah, here comes the arrow!
And Dimensional Shift.
Yeah, that.
Dimensional Shift! He gets away, Kaldor!
Yeah, he saw that one coming. I mean, if the arrow connects, he's dead.
Yeah.
Breeze jumping in like this, especially with the 16 with the Dwarf launch here, he has an easy reach on the Stormbolt. So if the Hanzo arrow connects, there's just absolutely nothing he can do anymore. Not with the low hit point pool that he has. But Fnatic is just using those tools. They're still 1.5 levels ahead, but the Monkeys now for the Temple have at least their 16 talent.
Now that's typically where Monkeys will just force a fight. They hit 16, they're grabbing a Night Camp 2, only one Temple to the top. Fnatic has a couple of options. A, fight with them if they want to, in terms of if they believe they can win the team fight, or B, just kind of push out the other lanes. And they're going with the latter of the options, knowing that the Monkeys typically in this scenario will group up as 5 and force a fight.
They're going bot lane very aggressively with Hanzo and Zeratul, and so far there hasn't really been an answer to that. So they're going to get quite a bit of value here, especially now that Smexy is able to heal that out. Blaze will have to retreat eventually, I feel. Passadar can slow that down with a few shields, but Fnatic is just being aggressive about it.
Yeah, they'll get the temples here. The same is being said, though, for the Monkeys. With them having the temple at the top, they're working on the towers already, even getting a little bit of damage on that keep if they can keep the full duration going.
I think Fnatic was hoping for a more severe reaction out of the Monkeys, and they didn't get that. But Last Hope can easily contest the top against Alex when it comes to space created. So that's what he's trying to do. The rest of the team is trying to chase down Breeze, though, and he is eating a lot of damage here. Void Prison comes in, Savage-sided, they go for ETC. The bunker is there, but I'm not sure if he can survive this.
Gonna go for the Mosh. He gets two. The shield comes out from Tassadar.
No way.
No way. Monkeys are turning this around. Rimmer eventually falls. A 2-for-1 trade in the favor of the Monkeys. Just kidding, as Mexi comes over and helps deliver a blow.
I mean, that was a 2-for-2, but still, that the Monkeys were able to keep ETC alive this long.
Should have been done.
The bunker, and then the mosh pit coming out. That was not quite what I expected. He was basically dead, and then he gets a perfect mosh pit through. And in a way that the rest of the bodies shield him.
With that all being said and done, too, they get the rest of the shots in the temple. They have a Night Camp pushing in the top right, which Fnatic will have to clean up. If not, that keep will take some damage, because that's actually a pretty big wave, especially with that minion wave about to join up, too.
And Fnatic is taking the bot lane, so they get the clear there. The Zeratul is now taken to the top. It's still one of those moments where it could very well come down to the boss, because I think that right now, with the boss being up, we could see the Monkeys being forced into a boss fight, and they're already going for it, because they know if they wait too long, Fnatic is going to hit 20, and then they're going to have a boss fight against level 20. So they're saying, we have to take it now, because if we don't, we have to take the same fight against Storm Talons.
Monkeys waiting for all 5 to be up. They will have to protect against the Giants that are pushing in the bottom lane. So Giants are pushing in. Blaze will be able to deal with that.
That is not a fun moment for the Monkeys at all. Because right now, what literally can happen is Fnatic trying to wait for 20 and then going into a boss battle and simply say, okay, you might have great tools with your heroes and your heroic abilities, but we have a talent advantage right now in the Storm Talon, so we're going to force you into a fight that you just do not want to take.
On the flip side, too, Monkeys have to be careful not to overextend. If someone gets deleted on their side, Fnatic has incredible boss clear. The Scatter Arrow build. We haven't talked about that all match yet. Night Camp gets grabbed 2 to get that pressure, which will force someone to come up here.
Yeah, that is actually nice. So first of all, they're starting it at the bottom. Top has shown. They're seeing these heroes at the top.
They get Tiana too.
It looks like Monkeys just simply giving up. Fnatic is leashing the boss a little bit. A little bit too much here. They see the top lane, but they're going to... Yeah, Monkeys just give it up. They were not willing to fight over it, so they're just saying, okay, take it. We can't defend against, or we can't win the fight here against level 20. We know that's what you're stalling for.
Are they base racing?
Let's give that up. Nah, they can't base race here anything.
The way they were positioned, because they were going around that Night Camp initially to clear out that wave.
They're actually also hearthing in plain sight.
They're just on the way. If he can get anyone, nah, they all get out. Just in time.
Yeah, the problem is it gives you double temple now.
Yep.
Fnatic has 2 temples, and they're going to get a bit of damage to the boss. This is great for Fnatic. They're already 2-0 in the series, and now the Monkeys, they are just trying to defend against the boss, but both of the temples are taken, and that makes matters worse for the Monkeys.
So this bottom keep will fall. That will be catapult pressure.
Yeah, that one's gone.
Middle wave will take a little bit of damage, but won't be done.
Actually, don't say that, because they still have a couple of shots left through the bottom.
Oh, that's true.
So they might actually be able to get both of the keeps. They should get both of the keeps. It depends on how much Monkeys can get out of this fight here. But it's still 20 talents against them.
Strombo connects. Power Slide comes in. Rimmer gets a knockback. Crosby trying to escape. A second Strombo connects with him. 7-sided strike as well, and Rimmer will take some damage.
Yeah, Hyperion has been used, and they're moving out easily. Take the last few shots in the middle, and that's going to give them the mid keep. And even a few more shots left at the bottom of the map. Monkeys still not on 20. Fnatic already has level 21.5.
Fnatic at this point can just stay away from all fights that are in their favor, try to get numbers advantage, and continue to shell away. We're going to grab the Giants as well, keep playing their Merc camps. The burden of forcing a fight is definitely on the Monkeys right now.
Yeah, and one of the other problems that you have is one more temple that you challenge through is going to give you the keep and is also going to damage the core, so you could even just YOLO for the core there. Monkeys are in a very, very awkward spot. Fnatic doesn't, as you said, they don't have to fight. They can if they find the opening, but they don't have to. They are the ones who can literally just sit there and wait it out.
Finally, 20 hits for the Monkeys. Infinite Archon picked up a level 20, but we have to wait for that cooldown to pop up, 50 seconds. So we shouldn't have a fight from the Monkeys for at least another minute. They want to wait for the Heroics to come in. Whereas Fnatic has everything up and available. They will be missing Avatar, but that'll be up in about 20 seconds. I'm curious to see how Monkeys are going to do this, because this is a hard position to be in.
I'm also curious to see how Fnatic is going to do this now. If they're just going to sit tight, or if they are trying to force something somewhere. Because as we said before, I mean, they're already denying vision to taking out the wall, so they can literally just play the map here.
Yeah.
They have catapults pushing everywhere, and the monkeys, as you said, they need to hope for a mistake. But if Fnatic plays their cards right, especially with the control that they have on vision, they can, Fnatic can just like easily push the lanes out a little bit and wait for the next temple to arrive.
Definitely the easy answer. Play the map, let catapults go, control Watchtower. Monkey's already setting up for the bush here on the back right, looking for something. Chasing down their opponents. Zeratul will scattered out. Mane trying to go for the escape. Side Storm connects, but Mane is out of there.
Yeah, he's immediately away, and already Smexy's coming in, helping him out. And in the meantime, you just look at the minimap and you see that every single lane is pushing aggressively, heavily against the core of the monkeys. They're desperately looking for that fight, and we even have a double temple coming up. So simply through controlling the objective, Fnatic can win here.
I mean, they're winning in and out of minion waves. That's how desperate they are for these fights. Fnatic.
Catapults also on the core.
There we go.
I mean, this one's going to get cleared up, no doubt. But still, bot lane is pressuring very heavily, and this is just difficult for the monkeys. Fnatic can split onto the lanes now, too, if they want.
And now Fnatic can also fake like they want to do a fight. And that means no one from the monkeys can go back to defend, and if they do defend, all five have to back up. Crosby gets some damage on last hope, but he's able to hop on out of there. The catapults are starting to group up in that bottom lane. It's going to be a total of 3 soon.
And that bot lane in particular is their biggest issue. But they just have to watch too much. They have to watch the middle, the bot lane, and those 2 temples. And that's going to be tricky, and Fnatic is going to keep poking.
Smexy's actually going down here to clear out the minion wave, make sure these catapults don't get cleaned up. And as soon as it gets the core, it will shoot through the armor. Mane slowing down Rimmer.
Smexy has a good chance of escaping, and he also can put some damage on. So already, we have Ardent Defender being popped on the side of Urel, but here comes Smexy. They're starting to move towards the catapults. They're escorting them in. Smexy is pushing a bit against the core. Arrow comes out against Blaze in the middle as they're trying to make the play here. Last hope is low. Maka was going in an attempt to get the kill. Top keep is gone as Fnatic got some of those shots through, and now they're starting to attack the core here.
Last hope, just buying as much time as he can. Muradin moving forward with Smexy. Hyperion is used. Mane also coming here from the middle. The temples are actually being taken by the monkeys. They're dancing pretty well here and getting the upper hand, but Crosby may have finally been caught. Here comes the Stormbolt. There goes the cleave. Crosby able to start escaping, but Mane, he's here for the chase, and there's a VP.
VP is in, and now they're waiting for the Stormbolt, and there it is. And Reyna gets clapped, but actually survives thanks to the 16. He gets a lot of hit points through the penetrating round. But all the keeps are gone. And with the top temple now going over, they actually secure their own keep as well. Get the kill against Tacita, and the core is soon going to be falling for the monkeys. They need to send someone top to deal with this. If Last Hope channels the top through, the game's over. The problem is they can't abandon the core either. It's absolute checkmate here.
Mane and Smexy dancing around. Finally, Breeze gets on top of it, starts applying the damage. Smexy doesn't care if he dies here. Can buy some time with 7-side strike as well. The core starts to fall down to 30, down to 20. 7-side comes out on top of Malfurion as well, down to 14, 6 and 0. Fnatic is able to grab the 3-0, and they keep their hopes and dreams alive for the Western Clash.
Yeah, Fnatic taking the 3-0 here, so not dropping a map. Important for their map score and also important for the match score too. And as you just said, it's all coming down to tomorrow. Leftovers versus Granite Gaming. If Leftovers, at this point it's simple. Leftovers wins, they go to the Western Clash. Leftovers loses tomorrow, it will be Fnatic that gets the 4th spot.
What do you take from Monkeys today, though?
Better.
Yeah?
Like, more coordinated, especially in Battlefield of Eternity. More aggressive, which I like. Not so much trying to play heavily around the macro game, but instead looking for kills early on and doing that. So I like their style quite a bit today.
It feels like it really does fit for them to be able to look for those fights and chase down for 5. It did come to bite them there in the end on Sky Temple, constantly looking for those fights, and if you're able to play around them, you can slowly whittle them down. That's what Fnatic was able to do. But still looking strong today, and we'll see if they continue that trend as we head into the next portions of the HGC. For now, Monkeys are done, and we'll prepare for that Western Clash. One question that I still had was how much of the onus was on Fnatic when we looked at some of the maps. Again, we mentioned Battlefield of Eternity. It didn't really run smooth for them. It was exploited well by the monkeys. But yeah, compared to the... I feel like compared to the performance we saw last weekend where they went up against even contenders, I think that was a lot better. Yeah, that it is. Fnatic continuing to work their way on up. We'll see if it will be enough. Again, tomorrow is a big match here as Granite Gaming will be moving forward as they take on the Leftovers, and we'll be seeing who grabs a win there. Leftovers currently in the driver's seat, but if Granite Gaming can get a victory, Fnatic will sneak their way into the Western Clash. Let's go ahead and focus on Shrimpie, though, right now. Shrimpie is ready to talk about the 3-0 that he just experienced against the Monkeys. Now, was that a bit harder of a series than you thought it would be, or are you happy with your results of a 3-0, Shrimpie?
I mean, I think only the second game was hard. The third game, we had kind of good control of it all the way. Even though it looked like we were behind on Sky, it's not always the case, you know?
Sure.
So I wasn't too afraid, but the second game was scary with the my pick.
I mean, what happened in game number 2 on Battlefield of Eternity? It felt like you guys kind of had a really difficult situation, but the good thing is that you bounced back. What put you in that weird spot?
I think they just had a really good draft, and they played really well in the early game, and Mena misclicked his level 1 talent, so it started already kind of weird, but like honestly, the draft was great, and versus Raynor, I cannot do anything.
Sure.
And I didn't respect them enough to actually care about it, so I just died, you know?
Well, fair enough. At least you got that respect towards the end there. One last question before I send you over to Caldor. What was the moment where you guys started to figure out that you can bounce back on Battlefield of Eternity? And who was in the comms trying to keep you guys composed? Because that has been something that we've been asking you guys for the last few weeks. It's something that you've mentioned that you've been working on, too.
Yeah, this game we didn't feel any pressure because we don't expect to go to the Clash, so we just played on. Like, no one was down, no one was hyping us up. It was just a normal game. Another game, you know?
All right.
Well, and yeah, that's it.
All right, fair enough. Over to Caldor.
You just said you don't believe that you guys are going to the Clash. No faith in Granite Gaming tomorrow?
I mean, we should expect the worst, right? Like, on paper, they should lose as well, so just keeping us calm and grounded that we might not go, I think it's the best mentality to have right now, even though we obviously wish Granite wins, and I think they have a chance.
So when you said that this was just another game for you going up against Monkeys right now, are you guys actively already talking about things like map scores that you say, okay, we need to make sure that we don't lose any map, that we fight for every single one of them, even though you're sure you're winning the series?
Obviously, that's our goal, and we go into every game trying to win, but honestly, right now, we just need to focus on improving, focus on getting the wins in. You know, every game has almost been a 2-3, so we just want to fully win.
Do you feel that right now things are running a bit smoother for you guys? I mean, let's take the Battlefield of Eternity game just aside for a moment, but you've been echoing in other teams too that scrims are going well for you. Is that still the case? Do you feel you have an easier time now bringing the performance from scrims into the HGC matches?
I think we're improving every week for sure. Like, we're getting better at it every week, and I think versus Dignitas, we just made some small mistakes. We could have taken a map more, maybe. So yeah, I think we're improving on it for sure, but I hope the start of next phase goes as well as the end of this phase did.
Okay, so I have one more very specific question when it comes to your arena play. You are the only player, at least in Europe, that has spec'd regularly into the Behemoth armor on level 4 with him, whereas Fight or Flight was the talent that we see from most other players, and you used that in your one game today too. What's the appeal of Behemoth armor? What's the thought process behind it swapping over? And did you now adapt to the build that we see most of the time, or was that just a specific pick against the composition?
I don't think I picked it today, actually.
No, today you switched over.
But yeah, today I did. I think just the 25 armor is great, and the cooldown reduction. Like, it's just the armor. Like, you get both. Like, Behemoth Hearts give you survivability in the moment, and it gives you more HP, like, right now. But with the armor, it's kind of the same, and you still get better sustain, so I just prefer it nowadays.
Okay, so you changed the mind on the talent and prefer fly. Okay, so that
Yes.
was all I want to know. Thank you very much, and yeah, great job today. Let's see how tomorrow runs with Leftovers going up against Granite.
Bit of a hard question for you, Shrimpie, before I let you go. If you guys don't make it to the Western Clash, what is your goal over the next couple of weeks during your break? Are you guys going to train hard, make sure you're set up and ready for the next phase, maybe relax a little bit? What's the goal for Shrimpie and the rest of his team?
I think most of the Clash teams will go to America, like at least Dignitas and Liquid, I think, to bootcamp. So we won't have that much practice. We might practice some if Method stays or if Leftover is here. We might practice versus them, but I think we will just work on some specific stuff, like focus more specifically on one thing to improve, and then we try to improve that during the scrim blocks.
Awesome.
But yeah, not too much practice, but still,
Stay
while
on
the teams
point.
are in Europe, we will practice.
Awesome. Well, very good to hear, man. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Shoutouts is available for you as the floor is now yours.
Shout out to mom, dad, brother, sister, girlfriend, you two, and Remmer. Thanks for the win, bro.
Simple and easy from Shrimpie as he delivers a shout-out. So a big victory for Fnatic as they get a 3-0 over the Monkeys, and we'll see more from them in the future. And of course, the big match tomorrow is the one that they'll be keeping their eyes on. If you want to see Fnatic at the Western Clash, you are currently a fan of Granite Gaming.
Exactly. Granite Gaming. I actually don't quite agree with him that it's going to be. He said like from